Rob, what's the highest impact thing that you did to build your brand and credibility as a capital raiser slash syndicator?
So there's two answers here, and the first one is the slow and steady and boring one, and then the second one is the faster, get it done now. So the first answer, which is the slow and steady, is the first thing I did was I was heavily influenced and inspired by Howard Marks and his quarterly memos. I love, if you're not familiar, Howard Marks is the founder of Oak Tree Capital, a very large private credit manager, and he's been writing memos since the early 90s. And being able to, he's an investment genius, and you can actually see the markets as they've evolved from the 90s to today through his eyes, which is amazing. And so that inspired me to want to write and want to, put my thoughts down. And so I early on started writing monthly newsletters, and the thing that Howard Marks is his stuff's not simple. It's not 10 easy steps to buy your next deal or whatever. It's deeper stuff, and so that attracts me. So I kind of carved that as my lane and wanted to attack topics that were deeper, maybe even more controversial, because I noticed that a lot of people didn't want to put their credibility on the line. They didn't want to say something that someone might think is wrong, so they would just kind of speak in general terms. But I wanted to say, no, this is my approach, these are my numbers, this is how I think about a deal. And then people could say, oh, I agree, I disagree, and then everybody learns. So that writing energy, which then went into the book, is by far the number one thing, but that takes time. It takes years. So the faster way to build credibility as a capital raiser is partnering. Obviously, that's such an obvious answer, but I think it's huge. And fortunately, real estate's a very partnership friendly business. We're all very collaborative, not competitive. We don't look at each other as competitors. And so that's great. And then the other thing that's great too is, it's very appropriate to date in real estate. You don't have to do a deal and then be married and do deals forever. You could just do a deal one time and see how it goes. So I highly encourage people, to take a smaller chunk of a larger pie.